This week, an FBI profiler, a military detective, and a physics teacher all call to add their 2 cents on a movie that no one could make sense of. Plus, we will find out how Mindhunters ripped off Agatha Christie. And guess what, people? It's time to go back to 1987 because Black Monday is on Netflix. That's right, all this and more on a brand new How Did This Get Made? Last Looks. Hit the theme!
Last looks, time to close the book on last week's movie. Correct the information, submit the omitted. Just chat with Jason, Juno, Rod, Red Dog. Guess last looks, last looks.
Hello to all my Mind Hunters. Welcome to Last Looks. I am Paul Scheer, where you, the listener, get to voice your issue on Mind Hunters, a movie that Discord user Sean McBee thinks should have had the tagline, Mind Hunters, their only weakness, bullets. Thank you, Sean McBee, for that amazing tagline, which, of course, is a reference to LL Cool J's amazing one-liner after killing Johnny Lee Miller. I don't remember it, to be quite honest with you. I mean, I laughed at it because I thought it was funny, but don't remember that that's a reference at all. And that's why Sean McBee is the champ. He doesn't need you to remember the movie. He just needs to get you. And he got me. A big shout out to Chris Cheney for that opening theme song. Chris, you killed it. Remember, if you have an alt movie tagline, you can submit it to us on our Discord at discord.gg/hdtgm. And if you have a Last Looks theme song like Chris, you can just go to hdtgm.com and click on the Submit a Song button on our homepage. Remember, keep them short. 15 to 20 seconds is best. If you don't remember any of that stuff, just remember, just go to hdtgm.com. It's so easy. Everything is there. You got pictures, you got merch, you got episodes, and you even got links to the Discord and my book. Everything is there, so don't worry about writing it down because I know everyone just reached for a pen and paper because we're all just going analog. No. Just go to hdtgm.com. You can remember that. Today, what are we going to be doing? Well, I'll tell you. We're going to stay pretty much on track to every single episode of this series, which is we're going to go to your corrections and omissions on Mindhunters. Then Jason Mantzoukas, he is going to pop in. We're going to talk a bit about, guess what? Stuff we like. And then, of course, I will reveal the movie for next week's episode. Now, lastly, I'm going to play a phone call from our friend Garrett from Chicago. He called in with a question that kind of segues nicely into the last thing I wanted to plug. Garrett, what's on your mind?
Hey, Paul. I was just listening to the Last Looks Forbidden Dance, and you were saying that you couldn't get Black Monday anywhere. And then today I see it's coming on Netflix in like a week or two. Did that conversation have anything to do with that, or did someone stronghold somebody after listening to that? Because it literally just came on there. All right, just wondering. All right, thanks, guys. Great show. Love the show. Been listening to it for 15 years. Wow. All right, bye.
Garrett, you are right. Netflix is now the home of Black Monday. 3 seasons of Black Monday on Netflix. It's me. It's Don Cheadle. It's Regina Hall. It's Andrew Reynolds. It's Casey Wilson. It's June Diane Raphael, Eugene Cordero, Yasser Lester. The list goes on and on. The first episode, directed by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg. It looks amazing. It's shot in anamorphic, which, if you know anything, it looks pretty fucking cool. Anyway, I love Black Monday. I just started rewatching it. I haven't watched it since it first came out, and the show really holds up, and I hope more people find it, and I hope this is your chance to go check it out. Every season just gets more and more crazy. It's just jam-packed with just amazing people, wall-to-wall great performances. So I hope you all like it and enjoy a little Black Monday whatever day you put it on. All right, that's all the plugs that I got. Oh, and was it my fault for saying it on Mindhunters? Yeah, probably. I'm sure Netflix heard me say it, and then boom. I will say this. I did post a couple of things and I got a lot of responses. We've been kind of hitting a brick wall with that show for a long time. So I'm going to say it's the power of How Did This Get Made, so we can all embrace it. All right. That is all I got for plugs. Let's get into it. Last week, we talked at length about Mindhunters. Well, we had questions and we might have even missed a few things. Here is your chance to set us straight. Fact check us, if you will. It is now time for corrections and omissions.
For all the things we talked about, there were things we did leave out. So now it's time for corrections and omissions.
Thank you, Dornheim, for that theme song. Let's go to the Discord. The Mediocre Pumpkin writes, the end line where LL Cool J calls back to Val Kilmer's rule that the situation isn't secure until the ride home is frustrating for multiple reasons. June correctly said it's dumb because they're not actually on the ride home yet, but it's also especially frustrating because LL wasn't even in the earlier scene when Val Kilmer used that line. He also was not a part of the profiler training program. So how does he know? Mediocre Pumpkin, you brought up a bunch of good points there. Could have so easily been switched to the other person. Oh, wow. It is shocking to me. A movie like this would make such a blunder. And the only answer I could say is he is the teacher. That's right. Val Kilmer is just a decoy. LL Cool J is actually teaching the class. Val Kilmer is his puppet. And that's the final reveal. You see, you thought you found, an omission, but what you didn't realize was you revealed just how dumb you are. You didn't get the bigger point that LL was the teacher all along. It's right there for you. It's right there. How did you miss it? Hope no one else missed it. Dr. Guts 1003 writes, presumably Val Kilmer had set up the island to have all sorts of clues to help the team profile and capture his imaginary puppeteer killer. So how come outside of the, initial mannequin corpse crime scene, they never come across anything else that is connected to the simulated crime? It's a great question. I would imagine it's because they are running for their lives. I mean, they are full on in panic mode. It would have been great if they found a clue and then realized it was just like a decoy clue. I would have liked that as like a twist, but I don't think this movie was smart enough to handle anything that complex. I think the minute a real serial killer is on the island, everything is out the window and we're off to the races. You would have thought that maybe Val Kilmer would have had a couple other people with them, maybe hiding out on that. Nope. Honestly, the Mindhunters should have killed some more innocent people is what I'm saying. Dr. Guts also writes that I thought it was worth mentioning that Rennie Harlan dropped out of directing another How Did This Get Made classic, A Sound of Thunder, to film Mindhunters instead. Ooh, interesting. If you don't remember A Sound of Thunder, I believe that is the time travel movie where someone steps on a butterfly and then they're running from dinosaurs. Were they running from dinosaurs? There are dinosaurs and there's butterflies. I know that. I know that someone steps on a butterfly, but it's not the butterfly effect with my man, the Kutch. Arkham Player writes, I'm not exactly in shape, but as a wheelchair user, I question Vince's ability to hold himself up on the pipes for so long. Upper body strength in wheelchair users is kind of a myth unless you're training for the Paralympics or a marathon. Wheelchairs are meant to make moving easier and not meant to be a device in which people improve their upper body strength. Now, I'm not saying I'm willing to test this out on Mythbusters anytime soon, but the tires on a wheelchair are made of rubber, so Vince would have been grounded, protecting him from getting shocked by electricity. Wow. Arkham Player, first of all, thank you for giving us a really solid fact check. Yeah, I would imagine that the wheelchair for him is probably the safest place. Maybe I can't quite figure out the logic here either, except for the fact that they just wanted him to hang from pipes. And that pipe scene was so exciting, I guess. All right, please do not test this theory out. Arkham Player already has told me he won't, but I don't want anyone else to try to electrocute themselves in a wheelchair. We will let the professionals deal with that. All right, let's go to the phones with Jay from Ohio.
Hey, Paul, June, and Jason. Just a note on Mindhunters. You all remarked at the beginning about the scenario Val Kilmer put them in when he was more of a tactical exercise versus a profiling one. This is true. FBI profiler training is more psychological, and the raiding part of catching killers would probably fall more to a dedicated FBI tactical unit or even a local law enforcement SWAT team. That said, profilers are typically still special agents or criminal investigators who have arresting powers and are armed. Depending on the nature of a warranted search, they may actually be the ones that doing the knocking on the door as well. They also do train on certain scenarios like this where force may be required. They use simulated firearms that shoot chalk-like projectiles, which I can say hurt like hell. I've actually assisted on some of these, posing as anything from an aggressive protester to a convenience store robber. It's actually kind of fun. That said, none of the training I've observed or taken part in was as elaborate as they said, and it seems like some fraud, waste, and abuse investigations are required on the part of Val Kilmer's character. So keep up the great work. P.S. Paul, my wife and I both love your book. Thanks. Bye.
Oh, man, Jay, thank you so much for reading my book. Also, whoa, these chalk pellets. Were you shooting them or were you getting shot with them? Either way, I guess what you're saying is this movie not really based in reality. Well, I was on your side. And then I got this phone call from my friend, Stoddard. Stoddard, take it away.
Hello, Paul. This is about Mindhunters and where to begin. So many things to talk about, but there's one that I think I have a specific insight into. In the military, I was on a SWAT team and I was a detective. And when I went to the Detective Academy, they actually had a place called Scenarioville that was abandoned military housing. And in those houses, they would set up crime scenes with dummies and fake blood, sometimes with real blood, if they wanted you to test, use one of the kits to detect blood, broken windows, weapons or items laying around, so that way you would be able to go in and actually, sketch your crime scene and make your measurements and then take all your photographs and collect the crime scene evidence correctly, and that way you would be trained and you would be tested in the same area. And although it wasn't as elaborate as what is in the film, certainly it was kind of crazy watching it and going, it's not that far off. It's just cranked up to 11 is what they did in the film. And they just turned it up to 11. It was pretty crazy when I was doing it. I remember thinking, this is kind of bizarre that they've just made an entire crime scene. And then you've got instructors to kind of stand around watching you or they'd be watching you on a camera like in the movie. So, yeah, there you go. A little inside information. Love the show. Take care.
Scenarioville. I love it. But it wasn't that, it seems like what you're doing there is like crime scene, like evidence collecting. That feels normal to me. I don't think that they create full on like huntings. They weren't sending you out to knock on doors, were they? Maybe they were. I don't know. I like Scenarioville. Is it like Lars Van Trier's Dogville? No. All right. This makes sense. The movie obviously based in reality, but guess what else? It's based in plagiarism. Check it out. Alwyn from London coming in hot. Take it away.
Hi there. I was not familiar with Mindhunters before the most recent episode, but what I was familiar with was Agatha Christie's book, And Then There Were None. And the more I listened to this week's episode, the more familiar some of the plot elements of Mindhunter became. They're both about a group of people trapped on an island being picked off one by the killer, who is someone among them. And if it was just that, I probably wouldn't have thought about it. But it clicked for me when you mentioned on the pod the way each person is killed in the movie plays on their vice. And in the Agatha Christie, each person is being killed as punishment for something terrible they've done. There's also the element of each of the deaths being foreshadowed ominously before they happen. In Mindhunter, it sounds like it's the clocks. In Christie's, it's with an eerie poem that the book takes the title from. There's also the tension of the group turning on each other as more people are eliminated and suspicions grow. And very specifically in both, there's a message projected over audio designed to scare people. And then finally, at the risk of spoiling the book, there's a plot twist of the killer being someone who faked their own death about halfway through the killings, only to return alive at the end. So it seems beyond the realm of coincidence at this point. I probably could find more if I watched the movie. And I have to wonder if Mindhunters is actually just a way worse ripoff of Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None. Would love to hear your thoughts.
Alwyn, you are 100% right. This is a direct ripoff of And Then There Were None. And great job putting together those context clues. I've seen that. I didn't even put that together. I've seen it. I've seen it. I didn't read it. And I'm not going to lie about that. I've seen the movie. And you are completely right. So many websites call this out. I don't know how they got away with not, saying it was based on that story, but I guess they added enough stuff to it that just kind of pushed that out of sight. I mean, enough serial killer tropes. And that's kind of what they were saying, is that they overlaid a lot of 90s stuff on top of Agatha Christie. So Alwyn, way to go for being well-read and getting it just from a few context clues. Next up, and finally, Liz from Wisconsin.
Hi, Paul, June, and Jason. I just listened to the Mindhunter episode, and I was listening to you talk about the liquid nitrogen attack. I am a physics teacher, and in college, we did experiments with liquid nitrogen, and I just thought I'd share a little bit about my experience there, because your instincts that it shouldn't do what it did in the movie are absolutely correct. It shouldn't have done really anything at all. It would evaporate really quickly. We used to have a dewar, like a cylinder full of liquid nitrogen to use for experiments. And people would kind of dare each other to stick their hands in it. And you shouldn't do that. And it was important to, take off any rings or metal jewelry you were wearing. I never was quite brave enough to, but I saw my friends do it a number of times. You can stick your hand in liquid nitrogen and just pull it out real fast, and you'll be totally fine. If it gets sprayed on your skin, it'll evaporate right away. So there's no scenario where anything close to what we saw would have happened there. So I just thought I would share that I have personally seen people with liquid nitrogen on them, and it did not creep up and freeze them and make them shatter. Thanks for all you guys do. Love your podcast. Bye-bye.
Liz, are you telling me this movie didn't know what the hell they were talking about? See, I appreciate this. This is a week where we get military detectives, we get FBI profilers, we get a literature person, we get physics teachers. This is the kind of content that I need. Not just, in one scene, the button was open. No. I got fucking professionals here. Thank you, Liz. Thank you, Alwyn. Thank you, Stoddard. Thank you, Jay. It does bum me out because then you're also, I guess, telling me that Terminator 2, the ending to that is also flawed. No! All right, back to the Discord. Django1 writes, what really irked me in this movie was the letters on the back of their jackets. There's a scene where all the jackets are laid on the table and you can clearly see the letters even though the black lights aren't shining on them, which means they would have been clearly visible to the naked eye. Second, they reveal the letters Croatoa, Croatoa? Just so Clifton Collins Jr. can tell the story of the Roanoke Island colony. So you're telling me Johnny Lee Miller put those letters on the jacket solely to have that story told? Preposterous. I mean, was that like a story that like that Clifton Collins Jr. told all the time? He's like, this would be great. I'll make him tell it to everybody again. Like, oh yeah, they'll just do the same story over and over again. I mean, I don't even understand. I mean, I get, well, maybe that's a clue. That is technically a clue. He should have put Agatha Christie on the back of the jacket. Quantum Volt, wannabe profiler, writes, I was sad the trio didn't discuss the underwater final face-off between Johnny Lee Miller and Catherine Morris, where they aim guns above the water in what I think was a game of chicken with their breath control. I get Catherine's character is terrified of water and it's supposed to be her conquering her fear, but there are so many problems from the guns being in the water for an extended period of time, let alone whether Catherine would be able to hit Johnny at all. I thought that was the dumbest and funniest part of the film. I mean, Quantum Volt, you did it. You talked us through it. Yeah. I mean, I am tired of the underwater bullet thing. I think that's the opening of the last James Bond movie. There is a period of time in the 80s and 90s where every bad guy's going underwater with their guns and they're shooting slow bullets. I think that's in Mission Impossible 3, the one with the guy from the guy from Michael Clayton. And then It also is in Lethal Weapon. Like, everyone is going underwater with guns, and the guns are working fine. It's impossible. I believe that if you've never been underwater before, holding your breath shouldn't be that hard. I don't know. I mean, she's afraid of water. I forgot about that. The movie is dumb. And that scene I thought actually was anticlimactic, honestly. So thank you for calling it out. And I'm sorry that we didn't get there. I think sometimes our energy for watching the movie, by the end of the movie, we're taking less and less notes because we've been just beaten into submission. Sean McBee writes, I read the script from Mindhunters, and the finished film didn't deviate it from it too much. There are two things I wanted to mention. First of all, Sean, you read the script for Mindhunters? You belong up in the fancy category of our profilers and lit majors and physics teachers. Okay, so Sean goes, these are the two differences. During the end scene in the pool, instead of the silly holding the gun out of the water to shoot whoever runs out of breath first, Catherine Morris gets out of the pool, then dumps in liquid nitrogen before Johnny Lee Miller can get out, freezing him solid. Honestly, I like that ending better. I think that that's a cooler ending. It ties together some bookends. And then the other scene that is different is there's a weird scene where Vince's leg twitches and the team suddenly suspects that he's been faking his disability and is the killer. They actually hold a gun to his head and say they're going to kill him if he doesn't stand up. And he does stand. Wait, what? But even the script doesn't know if that was from extreme effort or some weird nerve response. Despite this seemingly confirming their suspicions, the group moves on from it pretty quickly. It seems like they recognized in the edit that this didn't make a lot of sense and ended up cutting it. But they did leave in one shot of Vince's leg twitching earlier in the movie, and that was probably a setup for this scene. Wow. That is a wild thing. And I actually really love the specificity of the twitch, because it just further convolutes and makes everybody want to point the gun at each other, because that's really what they're all doing after a certain period of time. Sean, you did the Lord's work by reading the script. And I got to say, you were not the only one. I mean, to me, I feel like everybody brought their A game. And that's why the winner I'm going to pick this week, it's going to be tricky. It is going to be so tricky. It's going to be Alwyn from London, because Alwyn found something that no one else found, and it was right out in the open. The clue was right there, just like Krakatoa. And here is your winning prize. That's right. You're not going to get a prize you can hold in your hand, but you can get this: a free profile of you from me. That's right. I'm going to put on my FBI profiler hat, and based solely on the info available in your submission, I am going to tell you all about you. Scott, hit me with some dramatic profiling music. Alwyn from London. Well, what do we have here? It looks like she's extremely armed with opinions. That's right. Within minutes of meeting you, she will be able to diagnose you as a killer or a victim. Having read every Agatha Christie novel, she knows immediately which character you are playing in real life, because Agatha Christie has written everyone's life in her novels. We are just living them. And if you dare tell her about a movie or a TV show, she'll tell you which novel that was ripped off from. You say, oh my gosh, I love Family Matters. She goes, well, guess what? That's just The Crooked House, which is an Agatha Christie novel. You go, oh, I love What's Happening. She's like, oh, that's just Five Little Pigs. Oh, Alwyn, you're so smart. But beware, if you ever catch her in a locked room or around a Belgian man, something is amiss. You can often find her in libraries. And guess what? She does have a favorite Agatha Christie character, but she won't tell you who. And if you ever mispronounce Hercule Poirot's name, she will never forgive you. The same way she will never accept Benoit Blanc into her heart, because that's not Christie. That's Johnson. Anyway, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I hope you enjoyed your profile. I'm sure that's 100% accurate based on all the information I know about you. Anyway, for those who didn't win, be thankful. But guess what? You can try next week to get your prize. Maybe not an FBI profiler. Maybe we won't do that again, but something else. Who knows? Anyway, keep on submitting your corrections and omissions on our Discord or by calling us at 619-PAUL-ASK. Coming up after the break, Jason will stop by for a Just Chat, so stick around. Welcome back. By now, I'm sure you've noticed that every Tuesday we re-release classic How Did This Get Made episodes back onto our feed. This week's classic episode was The Adventures of Pinocchio, and in honor of Dr. Guts 1003, informing us that Rennie Harlan almost directed A Sound of Thunder instead of Mindhunters. Next week's classic re-release will be our own episode on A Sound of Thunder. And a little bit of trivia for you. A Sound of Thunder was originally supposed to star Pierce Brosnan, who happens to be the lead in the new movie that we are covering for next week. But you're going to have to wait just a little bit longer before we reveal what that movie is, because right now it is time to welcome Jason to Last Looks for a little Just Chat. All right, Rob from Long Island with a classic Just Chat theme. Jason, how are you?
You know, Paul, I'm doing great.
You know, I feel like we're right now, we're in April showers, and I feel like,
listen, they're going to bring those Mayflowers.
Oh, I hope, Jason. I really hope
we get Mayflowers this year.
Mayflowers would be a great name for like a 1940s actress. Oh, that's a Mayflowers.
Oh, yeah, I love it's a stage name. Her real name was like Peggy Lasbert, known as Mayflowers.
Mayflowers is good.
Jason, she was murdered. Mayflowers murdered.
Well, she was dating that mafia guy. Like he was old school.
By the way, this is it.
He betrayed Capone, and
it's starting to sound like I don't know when this is coming out because we're recording, but it was recently, I will say, not to timestamp when we're recording this, St. Patrick's Day. And I have adopted our friend Owen Burke's St. Patrick's Day viewing routine, which is I watched Miller's Crossing, the Coen brothers movie,
I love
Miller's
that.
Crossing, which he watches on St. Patrick's Day. And boy, it's just one of my absolute favorites.
Oh, I love that. I love that. By the way, I'm looking up if there were any Mayflowers. And it seemed like there is a Maya Flowers and a Sandra Mayflowers, but we are pretty much... We're good. Mayflowers.
We could do that.
Yeah, we got it. Maya Flowers is different. And if your name is Maya Flowers, change it to May. Like, why? We're so close.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I wonder if she goes by May. Probably not. Maya is such a short name. You don't need a
if you're going to name your kid Maya, then just name her May. But what if you were
trying to say, like, oh, those are Maya Flowers?
Now you're talking.
Now it's making sense.
I get it. Oh my gosh.
I love it. I think we should, here's what we should do.
Yeah.
A la Tilly Norwood.
Yeah,
we should create an AI actor named Mayflowers.
Now I'm in. Okay.
And maybe instead of like Tilly Norwood's like kind of, she's like a young ingenue, maybe Mayflowers our AI is like a stand-up comedian who just does Matt Rife style crowd work.
Oh, okay. Now you're going that direction, and I'm thinking what I was thinking that you were going to go for was we create like a June Squibb. She's just very, very, very. But
old.
By the way, let's mix them together. Yeah. She's an old because you could do it.
Yes,
it's like
you can do it for years. She's not gonna, she's an elderly stand-up comedian who just does crowd work
to great success because
Yes.
she is getting this intergenerational
Yep.
audience. It's like the young kids love her because she's cool and she's hip, but the older people are like, finally, this person can speak for me.
And because it's AI, we can have her be literate in all of the slang and everything for all the generations.
Oh, yeah. Like
so
just
she can speak authentically to Gen Alpha and the baby boomers.
but she's not playing down to it. Like she's not doing like, oh, it depends. Like
No.
No, she's not
No,
doing
no,
that
no.
kind of stuff. Yeah.
No, I think she's kind of like a real tells it like it is honest person. You know, like I think that the thing we need to prioritize in our new AI actors, and then speaks for also the Geek Squad, is people, what they want is the perception of authenticity. And that is why I
Yes.
think the more authentic we can make Mayflowers seem, our elderly stand-up comedian AI construct, the more authentic we can make her seem, the better. You know?
Well, yes, and I feel like and this is where we're going to have to spend a lot of money. Now, I know a lot of people are not, are like, hey, Paul, Jason, don't, embrace AI, but we are doing something that, honestly, I don't think you can do, which is
And that's
a
the
90,
reason to use AI.
Exactly. Right. This is not taking a job away from anyone. We're doing, we're doing 100-year-old person. It
Yes.
is.
Yes.
We're gonna get one angry one. How dare you? You guys don't even
Even
joke
as a
about
joke,
it.
even as a joke, I don't like it when they do this. Even as a joke, it's not funny to joke around about.
People are like, all right. We're just enjoying.
Here are the
ourselves.
names of 5 incredibly talented elderly comedians who never broke. Why don't you talk? Why don't you give them a platform instead of your stupid
you
fake
dumb
person?
bits. Oh man. Oh my gosh.
All right, I've got stuff that I'm watching. You want to
what are
hear
you
about it?
watching? Yeah, sure.
Get ready. Did I talk about Bookish, the Mark Gatiss post World War II detective show on PBS Masterpiece?
No.
Okay, good. Okay, so there's a show called Bookish that was on Masterpiece. It just finished its first season. And it's like the most Masterpiece Theater British detective show. It is post World War II, like right after the war. So
Right.
it features like bombed out London streets and everything. Mark Gatiss, who you might know as the Mycroft in the Sherlock Holmes, Benedict Cumberbatch Sherlock Holmes. He's also the head of the Iron Bank on Game of Thrones. He's part of the Doctor Who world. Mark Gatiss, you would recognize if you saw him. This is his show. He wrote and created it. And it's about a Sherlock Holmes-esque detective who consults with the police to solve crimes in post-World War II London. And it is dynamite. There's just a lot going on. There's a lot of layers to it that are very interesting, but it's really just straight ahead. Every 2 episodes is one mystery. So it's basically like a movie length.
Oh, I love that.
Story.
Yeah.
So every 2
A
episodes
little
is one
like
mystery.
Luther-esque in that way, right?
Very much, yes. And it's so fun and it looks great and Gatiss is fantastic, and there's a couple of like good reveals that come in and a couple of like longer running mysteries, but for the most part it's a case of the week and absolutely beautifully done. It's called Bookish. It's available now. The whole first season is up and it's terrific.
Oh wow. All right. I gotta watch that. I like that a lot.
I think you'd really like it. It's really satisfying.
Yeah, that's all right. That seems really good. Are you reading anything right now? Because I'm reading a great book. I don't know if I talked about this.
What do you got?
I read this book called Strangers, which is a memoir of a marriage by Belle Burden, which is June was reading it. And she's like, you got to read it. It's about this couple who's been together, like this kind of New York City socialite whose husband leaves her. It's a really great, compelling, quick read, really
and
beautifully
it's during
written.
the pandemic? Is
Yes,
that right?
it happens like during COVID, and it's fascinating. I think what I love about it is on some level, it just talks about breakups and like that awkwardness of what a breakup is and how you feel and did you do anything wrong and who and how your friends treat you. It really captures an element. And there's another part of this, which is like they are very affluent and they're within this like kind of a different cultural sphere in New York. which is great. But I do think the reason why it connects so much is it's not like, it doesn't have like juicy bits like, oh, then we went to this house and we did this. It really just more is like how you fit in when you are a part of something and now you are singular.
Yeah.
And I thought that book was really, really great. And I
that was a much discussed when I was in New York doing that Simon Rich show. Everybody behind the scenes was reading. I guess it had just been excerpted
it's fairly new.
in something. It had just been maybe in Vanity Fair or something. And that book was like, everybody was talking about that book. I got to read it.
Yeah, it is she writes really well. I guess it started as a New York Times, like there's like a love section in New York Times. Like you can write like these stories about like relationships.
Modern love. Yes.
Modern love.
Yep.
So she wrote that and it grew out of that. So, but I highly recommend that. I really think it's a great.
I will shout out, I don't remember if I mentioned this. I'm a huge fan of all the Star Wars audiobooks specifically. I love all the Star Wars books, but the audiobooks, they do such a great job sound designing them and making them feel very immersive. And the one that came out at the end of last year called Sanctuary, that is The Bad Batch, the TV, the animated show, The Bad Batch. This is a novel for all of those characters, and it's fantastic.
Oh, I love that.
I'll throw out a couple of recommendations for comics. I'm very much enjoying Matt Fraction's Batman run right now with Jorge Jimenez on art. Absolutely gorgeous book, fantastic. Two like longer books, like hardcover books. The Avengers in the Veracity Trap, the Chip Kidd book was fantastic, and the Superhero's Journey. These are basically books where creators are putting themselves and doing graphic novels that are about their own personal relationship to these characters and these stories. So there's a real blurring of the lines. Do you remember, like, we talked about, I think on your maybe something you were doing, Marvel 1985.
Oh, yes.
You know, it's a little bit like that. These are incredible comics creators who are writing these original stories that have themselves as components to them, and why and how all of these characters from the Marvel universe are so impactful and important to them, but told nonetheless in a comics style. So very good. The Avengers in the Veracity Trap and the Superhero's Journey. I loved both of those. I will also shout out, I'm like very much enjoying, I just finished they did a deluxe edition of an old Batman storyline called The Cult. And it's really takes place in a Gotham where like a cult figure takes over, like a cult leader, a religious cult leader takes over Gotham and starts to amass this incredibly powerful army of people who are doing whatever he says. And the parallels between its storyline and the world we're currently living in was chilling and very unsettling, and it's great, and it's from the 90s. You know, it's like it's an old run, but fantastic. They just put out a deluxe edition of it, and it's really great.
Oh, I love that. I should check that out. I just got I went out with our good friend Jesse Falcon. By the way, you should come out to those dinners. I've been trying to do like a bi-monthly Jesse Falcon dinner because he is.
I would love it.
A great hang, as you know. Jesse works in the Marvel world, but he gave me this book, The Furry Trap by Josh Simmons. And
Josh Simmons is nuts.
Yes, it is like a horror short story collection, and it is. I mean, there are things in it that I was like, it's visceral. It's like, it's
unsettling. Yeah. Yes. No. Josh Simmons stuff is very hardcore, it's great. It's really, does that book, I forget, have the Batman story in it? There's a Josh Simmons book, Dream of the Bat is the one I'm thinking.
Oh, yes. Okay. I'm looking at that right now.
And that's another Josh Simmons kind of twisted book that's great.
And there's a few, it looks like the Twilight of the Bat, and
I don't know that I knew that existed.
And then the Birth of the Bat. Yeah, I'm all right. This is interesting. I got to get more into him. But so it's like fan fiction.
Because I think that's how I found out about Josh Simmons was also Jesse Falcon.
Oh wow!
So that makes total sense.
Yeah, that is. It was like he's like, we got to go over here. I'm going to get you this book. And I was like, all right, great.
He's the best. I just love him.
Such a good time.
I've become obsessed with the comics writer Ram V.
Okay.
And just 2 books of his that I really enjoyed: The One Hand and the Six Fingers,
Ooh.
and Dawn Runner are 2 kind of graphic novel length books that I think are both absolutely terrific. Very cool, very interesting comics writer right now that I think is really worth checking out.
Now, I know that we are always recommending stuff that we really, really like, but Jason, there is something I do need to talk to you about that is kind of inexplicable in many ways, which is on Peacock, our favorite streaming platform. We talk about it a lot. There was a special called Live Moss Live. Live Moss Live happened the Friday before the Academy Awards, and it was presented as an award show hosted by Vince Staples. And Live Moss Live was a Taco Bell board meeting that was put on stage that Molly watched it with me, and we are in complete, and it shook me to the core what this thing is, because you'd think, okay, well, they'll have jokes and they'll do music. No, it is a straight up hour-long, like, it's like, oh, I work for Taco Bell, and they're kind of like bringing me into the fold. And guess what? They hired a couple interesting people. Like, they have like Benson Boone comes out at one point and goes, let me tell you about this 6-sided thirst trap. It's a quesarita supreme. As Molly is saying right now, she says post-apocalyptic fast food nightmare.
Wait, but was it real?
It's 100% real. It is a way for Taco Bell to show off all their new products like the creme brulee crunch wrap. But they put it in an award show thing, and you would think, okay, well, Vince Staples is hosting it. No, it's really the CMO. Like, he introduces the show, and then the CMO comes out, and the CMO runs most of the show. And then they cut to cameos of people that are shocking. Like, at one point, it's like the money that went out to pay everybody. And I don't fault anyone for taking Taco Bell money and showing up and drinking a cold brew horchata.
It air?
Peacock.
Okay.
Live Moss
Live
Live.
going on?
As I describe it to you, it's not close to capturing what it was. It's like, oh, this would be funny. It's lame. It's weird.
Because it sounds like what you're pitching me is like a Tim and Eric sketch,
right?
Or something, you know?
Yes, and it's really it's all over the place. It's a show that they keep on telling you it's going to be full of comedy and music, but they never get to either one of those things. Like, organic, like, it's like, I guess this is comedy. Some of the faces that you might know and recognize, a lot of great friends of ours that are in it, and I need to ask them a lot of questions about what it was. But a live event, it happened live.
Were the Doughboys on it? This seems like prime Doughboys.
Oh no, it was
territory.
Jason Sudeikis, Benson Boone, Rachel Bilson. It was the Bella Twins from the WWE. Phineas from Billy.
Wow.
like Tara Lipinski.
What the hell?
It is a wild ride. Anyway, and Vince Staples hosts it.
I wonder how many people are watching that.
I don't,
because you said it's long, right? It's not. It's like a long thing.
It's an hour. It's an hour long. Like,
it's like a full length special.
If you have Peacock, just try the opening. You're like, oh, Paul oversold this. This is not bad. The opening is the only part where I'm like, okay, there's a conceit here. And then once they get into the venue, which is the Palladium, it is wild. Wild.
That
it is wild.
Very unsettling.
I need everyone to watch it because I can't. I lived through this with Molly and Wes. We did a special.
You guys have like trauma that you need to talk about. Through.
We really like.
You have a trauma bond.
It still sits with me. I'm like, what did I watch there? And you know, my and your like my radar for this is like, I'm fine. I can watch anything. And be like, that wasn't bad. This was on another level. Something like it was like we were forced to watch a company retreat where they're like, we got Tara Lipinski, so she's gonna come out and talk about the crunch wrap. Like, oh, that's amazing. People are gonna go nuts.
It's almost like an inside out, like Gillette Theater or something
Yes.
like that. Like the product would host a performance.
Right, and you don't even get that. Like
but
you don't even
now
get
you don't get the performance. You just get like the board meeting of Gillette and some celebrities like walk through.
Right, and it is that same thing. I don't know if you've ever done this. I've definitely done this where you are but kind of flown in. We'll treat you nice. We'll put you up in a night. We'll pay you a little bit of money. You just come and say, "Hey, everybody, I'm so excited that everything is happening for Taco Bell." But it's on like we don't do that on camera. No one knows that ever happens. Right. That is like I went to Mexico one time to sit with a bunch of people who bought the most local advertising on FX at one point. June and I went down and had a dinner. And it was a lovely experience. It was a fine experience.
Yeah.
But man, oh man, this Live Más Live.
Okay. I'm gonna check this out.
I mean, check it out like at night. Get yourself in whatever zone you need to do because you need to be a little bit. You need to. I think in the broad light of day, it will be a soul crushing.
Holy shit, that's very funny.
I love that. Ooh, it gives me the chills just even thinking about it. But sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I love that. I think that sounds absolutely bananas. I can throw a couple more things into the mix.
Great.
I'll just throw out in my continuing anime obsession. I now have just watched season 1 of Jujutsu Kaisen, which is, I think, phenomenal. Like, that and Sentenced to Being a Hero are two of like the best action shows that I've ever seen. Like the fights and everything are absolutely beautiful and stunning. Gorgeous show. As stunning and beautiful as like the heartbreaking scenes of this season of Frieren are. I will say absolutely this season of Frieren, which I've already mentioned, is absolutely the best season of television maybe I've ever seen. The Hero of the South episode is absolutely incredible. The documentary about screenwriter Patty Chayefsky called Collector of Words is absolutely fantastic if you care about Hollywood. He is just such a fantastic character. I cannot recommend that enough. As well as the documentary, Paul, which I think you would also like, which is called Breslin and Hamill, Deadline Artists, which is about the relationship of Jimmy Breslin and Pete Hamill, the two totemic New York journalists, New York City journalists, and it's about their friendship. It's about their battles with each other. It's also what I loved about it, which I think you would very much like about it. It is about that period of time in New York City that is so heady and so wild, and all of the footage is fantastic. All of the characters are fantastic.
Oh, I love that.
I think it's on HBO. I'm almost positive. It's called Breslin and Hamill, Deadline Artists. That one and the Patty Chayefsky documentary, I think, are absolutely dynamite.
I love this. All right, Jason, what a pleasure chatting with you as always.
Yay!
But now it is finally time to announce our next movie. Next week, we are going from Johnny Lee Miller to Liquid Bomb Killer. That's right. We'll be watching 1992's action thriller Live Wire, starring Pierce Brosnan, Lisa Elbacher from Beverly Hills Cop, and activist Ron Silva. I know it's Silver. I'm so excited for you to watch this movie. It is a great one. Here's a breakdown of the plot. After a U.S. senator is killed by a mysterious ingested liquid explosive, a bomb disposal expert is brought in to investigate the explosive and uncover the terrorist plan. Now, there are not enough reviews of Live Wire on Rotten Tomatoes, so instead we turn to Letterboxd, where user Silent Dawn writes a 90s trash action procedural that's mainly and hilariously about infidelity, while the rest of it revolves around water that explodes after being ingested. Wacky stuff. And you know what? Silent Dawn is 100% right. This movie fucking rules. Take a listen to the trailer.
These attacks against members of the Senate come just a week before the revote on the anti-arms bill.
Now there's a matter of my $10 million. What the hell are you talking about?
There's absolutely no trace of any kind of explosive or fragments from a detonating device.
Keep digging. People don't just explode. He took a drink of water, sweat, shook. Move out! Move out! Then, boom. That's it? No. I left out the part where she swallowed a grenade.
Now, Live Wire is not currently streaming anywhere for free, but you can rent it in all the usual places. So, I suggest that you do. I think you're going to be very happy with this choice. It is fun 90s trash. So that is all for Last Looks. If you listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please rate and review us. Make sure you are following us and have automatic downloads turned on. It helps the show, and we appreciate it. Visit us on social media at HDTGM, and a big thank you to our producers, Scott Sani and Molly Reynolds, our engineer, Casey Holford, and our social media manager, Zoe Applebaum, as well as our intern, Quinn Jennings. And, of course, we will forever be thankful for the one and the only Avril Halley. We miss you, Avril. We'll see you next week for Live Wire.